In many parts of Africa, there is always a struggle for power. Struggles for power begin from the struggles for internal democratization of our parties or units where we belong when we come to power. The politics of compensational structure, the politics of deficit, the beginning from a deficit, that I had a deficit. I had a deficit before I was born, or when I was born. I found myself in a poor family. It's the politics of compensation that haunts Africa today. Many people want to take on leadership, but it's the leadership as a basis of where you came from, or the leadership has qualities.
My father bought me my first shoe in 1981 from a Mr. Onyango on the street for 60 shillings because he could not afford the butter shoes. Why am I saying this? Today, as you can see, the gentleman who did not have shoes is sitting at the high table. With the son of the founding father.
Sasa kama nitaambiwa naongea siasa, lakini I'm not, I promise. I have no such intention. But you know, when you hear people out there, you know, they talk, oh, huyu mtu fulani dynasty hii, sijui dynasty hii. It's not about that. Leadership is not about where you were born. It's not about where you came from. It's not about the color of your skin. It is not about your tribe. It is just about a desire to serve, a desire to do good, a desire to make a difference in the lives of people. And anybody can do that.
For a leader to be a leader, he must have qualities. Identify himself with qualities of good behavior, qualities of no corruption, qualities of no hatred, qualities of engagement, discussion with others, collective responsibility, listening to the people. These are the qualities. A leader who delivers does not need to have a background. A leader who delivers can deliver without a background of the rich or the poor. Many people in Africa seem to be misinterpreting that once you are born, you directed God to produce you in a particular family. None of us would have been where we are had we actually had a message from God where we would be born. I therefore look at this as compensational politics. Meritocracy is the answer. Meritocracy gives you the position that you yearn for. Meritocracy delivers you a position. Meritocracy gives you what you are doing for the people of Kenya or Uganda or whatever country where you are in Africa. But if you don't have these qualities, even if you are born from a family that had the whole world as theirs, then you cannot be a leader. It is therefore very important that the leaders who yearn to become leaders in Africa stop the usage of compensational politics. The politics that you want to compensate on others simply because you were poor, simply because you didn't go to a good school, simply because you don't drink in the same place where they drink, simply because you don't eat in that restaurant, simply because you don't have cars. That politics has got syndromes traits of people who are either corrupt or have hatred or have a problem on itself. I therefore call upon you people to re-examine as Africans that wherever you come from, the background you come from, you are an African. You can deliver something for your country. You don't need to be able, you don't need to come to compensate for the lost past, because with such attitude, you will grab everything and your country will collapse. Thank you very much for listening.
By appending our signature today, after going through the bill, we are stamping a seal of approval of the process. The necessity is all and final to the document. I appeal to the patriotic Kenyans to come out in record numbers and append their approval in the record time so that we move to the next chapter.
Nitaomba Mheshimiwa Raila atasimama kidogo ili sasa nimwalike Mheshimiwa Uhuru Kenyatta kuweza kutia sahihi yake. Na nitaomba sasa watasimama kando wote wawili, kila mmoja upande wake. Mheshimiwa,
This document is alive. This document is supposed to treat the problems and the challenges that face us as a nation. Because at different stages in a nation's history, in a nation's life, there will come others. And you will see Second Amendment, Third Amendment. What we are doing is just starting. And just starting with that is most critical. Dealing with the issues that make us consistently fight. The issues of inclusion and inclusivity. Dealing with the issues of ensuring equitable resources. Dealing with the issues of ensuring that money reaches the lowest level possible. Dealing with the issues of corruption and governance. These are the things that make people fight. These are the issues that we are dealing with at this stage. Fellow Kenyans, let's come together. Sort that out. Other chapters will be sorted out.
Very good morning to you, and thank you again for joining us. This is the People's Court. My name is Miriam Mugutu, and we are coming to you from Kenya's capital here, Nairobi. And on the panel this morning, I'm joined by Daniel Wesonga from Nairobi. Daniel, good morning.
Yes, sir. Very good morning, Miriam Mugutu at our Punchline TV headquarters in Nairobi. My fellow panelists and viewers here in Kenya, Africa, and the rest of the world. Morning.
Good morning, and also we are joined by Douglas Kirimi from Meru. Douglas, good morning.
Good morning, Miriam. Good morning, my friend Sean Wasonga in Nairobi. Good morning, my friend Javan in Karanja in Nanyuki. And good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all our viewers across the world.
All right, very well. And of course, Javan Karanja from Nanyuki. Javan, good morning to you.
It's a very good morning here in Nanyuki. Good morning, Miriam, Douglas, and Wesonga, and our viewers wherever they are watching us from. It's a good morning. Yeah.
All right, very well. Before you even get into it, one of our viewers here, Ben Kicks, you're saying keep distance. I agree with you. And also you're adding Raila avae mask vizuri. Of course. Yes, if Raila, you're not wearing a mask in public, you should wear your mask, sir. One of our viewers there is reminding you, and of course all of us, as much as we've seen the figures, they're going down at about 6.4%, but that is not a reason to celebrate yet. We are not out of the woods, so wear your mask wherever you're in public, social distance, sanitize, and wash your hands. Very well, so let's just get into our topic of the day. And we are looking at the BBI. Is it too too late for changes. We've seen there has been some people who are still calling for more consensus and more changes and the things that they would want to be included in the BBI report. And we know over the weekend Raila was in Mombasa and he met with clerics there. And let's just start with some of the things that the clerics wanted to be added. And while we were talking in the earlier show, I think it's a form of advertisement there from a section of, widowers in Kenya, the association there, that is saying some of the things that they wanted be included in the BBI was not included. I think it's just in one of these newspapers, and I'll just take a look at it. It caught my attention. And so since we're talking about the BBI and whether it is too late for changes, we shall look at a bit of that. And of course, our Deputy President still hasn't given a stand on whether he's supporting BBI process or not. He gave some hints a couple of days ago about him being happy with the changes that have been made, and perhaps people are hoping the next step will be for him to come out and say, you know what, you cannot always win all the time, but at least I've gotten the majority of the things that I wanted included in the BBI, and so right now I will support President Uhuru Kenyatta. But he did say that he's supporting his boss. He's supporting his boss, but he has not come out and saying whether he's supporting his boss fully when it comes to the BBI report. So, Deputy President, I'm sure Kenyans are waiting for that, especially those of your beloved supporters out there. So let's just see some of the demands that were presented by the Muslim leaders there to Prime Minister Raila Odinga, former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, over the weekend there in Mombasa. And in the memorandum presented by Sheikh Ngao, the Muslim leaders demanded that if the president is a non-Muslim, the positions of Deputy President or Prime Minister be handed to a Muslim from the coast region. Okay. They called for elevation of the office of Chief Qadi to the equivalent of a High Court judge, and establishment of Qadi's Court of Appeal to handle cases of the lower Qadi's Court. So they want the Chief Qadi to the equivalent of a High Court judge, and also the clerics call for the establishment of the Board of Muslim Scholars of Kenya under the chairmanship of the Mufti of Kenya. I really don't know what that is, the Mufti of Kenya. And they demanded that all ambassadors appointed to Muslim and Arabian countries be Muslims. They also sought the promotion of Muslims to senior positions in the military and in all uniformed disciplined forces. Now, the clerics called for the implementation of the Ndungu Land Report and the Truth, Justice and Reconciliation Commission report to resolve land conflicts in the coast region. They also called for the formation of a committee representing coastal communities to find a lasting solution to the problem surrounding land belonging to absentee landlords. All right, so let's just start by some of those demands there by the Muslim leaders that they presented to Raila Odinga over the weekend at the coast. And we remember we were having this discussion last week where a section of Christian leaders came out and they're saying now we want a Christian court because the Muslims have the Qadi court. And of course, that does not make any sense, because the Qadi court is meant to settle a specific issues that deals with people of the Islam faith. And now some of these, let's just look at like one of these things. They demanded that all ambassadors appointed to Muslim and Arabian countries be Muslims. Daniel Wesonga, please respond to that.
So when you read the BBI report, it talks about rewarding job opportunities in the civil public service and the county public service boards based on meritocracy. So that is the norm that we should encourage as a people. It doesn't have to be specifically a Muslim going to as an ambassador to a Muslim country, but we have to vet them on the basis of their meritocracy. And that is what is done world over. Of course, you cannot just base it on the religion only and also be able to ignore other factors such as the skills and also the academic qualifications. So to me, at the end of the day, I'm a person who believes that for you to upscale the ladder of any prominence, be it career-wise, be it politically, be it even in business or any sphere of leadership, then let it be based on competence and meritocracy. that is how we shall be able to build strong institutions in this country.
All right, very well. On the same, Douglas, you've seen, apart from just the Muslim community, they're demanding, the clergy that met with Raila over the weekend, them demanding that ambassadors who should be appointed, Muslim ambassadors should be appointed to countries, to Arabian countries or Muslim countries there, and also that they're saying that if the president is non-Muslim, as we have heard in all the presidents that we've had in this country, they're not demanding that the position of the deputy president or prime minister be handed to a Muslim, and specifically from the coast region. Douglas.
Miriam, did they mention promotion to the military?
Also, yeah. But let's just deal with those two first, and then we'll come to that.
Our leaders from the coast, and especially the Muslims, are not sincere, because BBI and the Constitution encompasses a situation where we can be able to have a people from Mijikenda community, from the coast or from any other place, run for president and win. BBI and also the Constitution encompasses where someone in Marachi, a ward in Busia, can be able to run for president and win. BBI and also the Constitution encompasses a situation where a person from the Dagodia clan in Mandera can be able to run for president and win. We cannot have the coast regions segregate themselves together and also separate themselves with their own issues, and also claim that ambassadors to Muslim countries should be appointed in the Muslim countries and also Asia. We cannot have that situation. For example, if a president has competent people who have been vetted and also approved to be ambassadors and to be sent to Arabia, and the people that have been vetted to be, the people that have appeared to be vetted as Muslims to those regions would be seen to have been a national security threat, or they were not qualified to be ambassadors in those countries, are they saying that we should pick them because they are coming from the coast? The Constitution encompasses a situation where any Kenyan who is qualified and who is competent enough can be able to fill a position. Whether you come from the smallest tribe or from the biggest tribe, you can be able to compete and also competitively occupy those positions. So I think what the Muslims leaders presented to Raila Odinga in Coast is null and void and cannot be supported by Kenyans of right thinking, because we cannot have a situation where we are having people particularly from a particular region. Kenya is a country of different regions. We have the eastern, the coast, the western, the Nyanza, Nairobi, and Central. We cannot have people, or Rift Valley, we cannot have people from Rift Valley say any person that shall be running for deputy president should be from our community. People from the Central region, we say any person that shall be the prime minister, that person shall be coming from the Central region. That sense of entitlement from our people and from our leaders across the nation should be scrapped from their minds, and they should be sanitized by the blood of Jesus Christ, because that one is not the right mindset for a Kenyan. For us to show patriotism, true to country and true to our motherland and fatherland, we cannot have people that think that they should be given a particular consideration when it comes to that. We understand the people of Coast region want people from their region to go and run for president. We have had ministers, effective ministers like Karisa Maitha, Najib Barara, and we've been having people from the Coast region like Sharif Nasil, the former MP from Vita, those years. We've been having national people from the Coast region like Hassan Joe, who is the deputy party leader of ODM, and also a governor. So there is no way we can be able to put that caveat and say their concerns are valid. Their concerns are not valid in the face of the Constitution, even in the face of patriotism. The Constitution or the Kenyan spirit encompasses a situation where we can have a governor from Turkana running for president and winning. This is the country that we want for ourselves, and this is the country that we want to bequeath our people. So on the issue of ambassadors and also getting positions in government and all that, they can be able to negotiate that with the strength of their votes. They can be able to support their man and also help them. If their man cannot be able to fuel their vehicles or choppers to Mandera, they can be able to get them there. Like the people of Northeastern. The people of Northeastern will fund you to go to take you to school, and then they'll let you come and stand as their MP or MCA or governor.
All right.
I saw that in the campaign of Hassanul Hassan, the CAS. When he was running for governor in Mandera, they were being supported by the community, and Biro Kero, the senator, had to step down because the community wanted to empower and also elevate another person. So the people, of course, what they need is not a consideration at the national table. What they need is to go and plan themselves and also meet the needs of their people from their grassroots. They need to empower their people and also encourage their people to go for those national positions. When ambassadors are being vetted and all that, we cannot have a candidate. Whoever becomes president may not be so nice to the people of Coast region, but the Constitution and the BBI encompasses a situation where a person from the coast, from Meru, from Busia, from Turkana, where they can be anything they want in this country.
All right, very well. Thank you so much.
Yes, maybe just to add on this. Yes, I just believe that this conversation perhaps was done in a political contest, and which is not bad. But whenever now you put an obligation on it, then there is where the problem comes in. But if they were just doing it in terms of maybe elevating their bargaining power in terms of political maybe benefit, then it's allowed. But let them not make it like it's an obligation and maybe an irreducible minimum for their people to be in specific positions in government. And as Douglas says, for a nation to be united, for a nation to have a site where we share our prosperity, then we have to give an equal chance to even the El Chamus and other minorities like the Asians and other immigrants who came here, but by virtue of being natural citizens, they have been incorporated into our society. That is my submission, Miriam.
Thank you so much, Daniel, there, and Douglas. Now, Javan, by these clerics, saying that, should a president who is a non-Muslim, should we have a president who is a non-Muslim, and that is what we've been having in this country, and they're demanding that the positions of deputy president or prime minister be handed over to a Muslim, and specifically from the Coast region, which is, I think, will be interesting because we know that Muslims, they're not all situated in the coastal region. They might have a higher number of Muslim in terms of the population there, but we know northeastern Kenya is a majority Muslim, and they're scattered across Kenya, Muslims. So why do you think that having a Muslim deputy prime minister or a deputy president from the coast, will that not cause other religions also, like we have other religions in this country, not just, we know Christians is the majority, and then followed by the Muslims, and other religions also we have in this country. Will they not also start coming out and demanding also to be represented in terms of their religious affiliation? And by them saying that ambassadors who will be posted in Muslim and Arabian countries must be Muslim, what are the dangers of, because when we send an ambassador to a country, they're going to represent Kenya. We are not looking at their faith. We are not looking at their creed. It shouldn't be based on that. We are sending them because we know this will be the best person to represent us in this country, to represent Kenya and the people of Kenya in this country, and because they qualify and because they'll be the best representation that we have for us over there. But now they're coming in and they're saying we need for the ambassadors who will be posted from now moving forward to be included in the BBI report when they're being posted in any Muslim country or any Arabian country, then they should be of Muslim faith. What is the dangers of, mixing such an important national appointment with religion? I mean, should we not? I mean, what are the dangers in that? Javan.
Javan seems to be off. I'll just come in, Miriam, if you don't mind. I think we need, as a country, we need to emancipate ourselves from mixing religion and politics. And that is why a while back, when the deputy president insinuated that Kenya is a Christian country, and therefore we did not have a position where people will talk about rape and everything. I had an issue with him because whenever you mix religion and government, then it means that perhaps you are going to discriminate and pit people against each other. And that has seen so many countries, so many societies falling into conflict. When you look at whatever happened in Central African Republic between the Seleka and Balakai, the chaos that were there pitting Christians against Muslims, it took the whole country down, and it really devastated the society then, in that people had to flee and seek refuge in churches and in mosques. It took the intervention of the international community to bring normalcy to Central African Republic. And however, that did not even bring total long-lasting peace. Also look at the issue, the conflict of the Greater Sudan before it got divided between South Sudan and the Sudan. One of the most contentious issues was that we had a Christian South and a northern Muslim country. So the country was divided into two, and that was apart from the discrimination and the marginalization that was there. Also the fact that we had such interreligious conflicts when it comes to Sudan. That is what led to such a conflict and the division, separation of the two states. Also, look at whatever is happening in Nigeria between the Christian South and the Muslim North. It is always bringing a bone of contention between that. And therefore, we shouldn't encourage any discussion, be it in government or be it in sharing our leadership position, to be mobilized along religious lines. Because at the end of the day, it's going to bring a conflict. Because if Muslims will be given some preserved position in government, say ambassadorial position, or maybe the deputy president or prime minister, trust me, Miriam, the Christians are also gonna come on board with their demands, and the Hindus, the Buddhists, and other religions will also bring their demands on the table. And therefore, we shall be a country which is sharply divided along religious lines. Mm-hmm. Also, it is for that particular reason of separating religion from the state that perhaps the leadership of the long-lasting leadership of Emperor Haile Selassie fell in Ethiopia, because people thought that the church was having a very, very big say in affairs of the state, and therefore a minority of other religions such as Islam were being ignored, and that they felt like they were being marginalized. And therefore, even in the government of the day, there are no competent checks and balances. And therefore, we should restrict ourselves from sliding into such slippery horizons of mixing religion and our instruments of governance. Let positions be earned through meritocracy. Mm-hmm. Let them be earned because there's a need for competence, and because they really address the immediate effects, the immediate needs of the people at that particular area of jurisdiction, but not because one is coming from a particular religion, right, a particular tribe, maybe a particular social group. Mm-hmm. That is my take, Miriam.
All right, very well. And one of our viewers here, Tankoi Adam, nice to see you this morning. You're saying we cannot divide this country on religion line. Leadership election is a democratic process. Let religions elect their leaders in church and mosques and other places of worship, I will add there. Mixing religion and politics is not only against the scriptures, but also a recipe for conflict. So among other things that they were demanding for Douglas is they also sought the promotion of Muslims to senior positions in the military and all uniformed disciplined forces. Why do you think this was a particular concern? They're not even saying just in the civil service, but particularly in the in the disciplined forces we have in our country. They're saying increase the number of Muslims there. Why do you think they chose on this very particular issues that they want included in the BBI?
Miriam, my take is when you control the military, you control the country. When you control the military, you control every aspect of the nation, because the military is, after the president, the next people who are in charge and who control everything about the country is the army chief. For example, I need to take you back to some history in Pakistan. The Pakistani president of that time, President Pervez Musharraf, I am a big fan of Musharraf until he killed Benazir Bhutto. So his past years in military and also when he was president were very good. He had good reforms and all that. The army chief was regarded to be a very important tool in galvanization and in balkanizing the country when there is bad leadership and governance and all that. When you want to assume power in most countries, and including here in Kenya, the military has to have your back. So anyone that controls the military in any country controls everything that comes with that country. For example, we saw the chief, the Joint Chief of Commanders in the US, I think that is the name, doing a press conference. He said their loyalty is not to an individual. Their loyalty and fidelity is to the Constitution of the USA. So whoever controls the military, these people know, and they know very well that whoever controls the military controls the nation. And they would want, maybe for their own reasons, which I don't understand, they would want to control this nation. But now I want to bring them to a very quick, I want to do a rejoinder on that when they are saying military, their community should be, Muslims should be elevated into military positions in the country. We have had Nairobi. Yes, Miriam?
They're saying senior military positions.
Yes. If they say that, they need to be reminded that we have had Muslims at the top and they have performed well. We have a Muslim at the helm of Nairobi Metropolitan Services, NMS, and we have military who are Muslims, military leaders who are Muslims, and we have no problem as a country, as a people, in appointing those people in senior positions. Nairobi under Mohammed Abdallah Badi today is shining, and nobody is calling him a Muslim. They are happy that he's doing a service to the country and service to the people. So Muslims, wherever they have been praised, they have performed very well. And that, we need to also remind them we have had military generals like General Mahmoud, the father-in-law to Aden Duare, the former majority leader in the National Assembly. We have had Muslims in this country who have performed well. And one thing that we cannot take away from them is their commitment to duty and patriotism to the country. So I think that demand is a bit misplaced because no one has blocked military Muslims from being promoted in senior positions. They have been appointed in senior positions and they have performed very well. I think the Kenyanness or the Kenyan spirit is being misused by everyone that is taking their views to the BBI team. I think everyone is fighting for the soul of their communities and also their people, forgetting that we are a country that has decided to come together to form the state of Kenya and the Republic of Kenya. Our views and their views equals our democracy. So when the people of Coast Region and the Muslim communities give their views, those are their views. And also as Kenyans, we have our views. But we also need to also stop leaders like William Ruto, who have gone ahead to declare that this country is a Christian nation. He is giving a leeway to other people across the nation to give their own demands. How can a old deputy president elected for 5 years stand on a pulpit and declare that this is a Christian nation? What are the Muslims going to feel? What are the Hindus going to feel? What are other communities going to feel? There are other communities of faith in this nation. So we need to stop and rein on our leaders. When we have a majority of Christians, Christians should respect Muslims. Muslims should respect Christians, and Hindus should respect other communities of faith. We cannot have reckless leaders who are making statements like the Deputy President William Ruto. That statement, I think, it has also contributed to Muslim giving those demands, which are very uncalled for. And now tomorrow we will have a press conference from Hindus giving their views on BBI. Where were they 2 years ago?
Even from
because the Deputy President or some leaders have declared that this nation is a Christian nation. We don't refuse this nation is a majority Christian nation, but we need to also respect their constitutional rights to belong and to also be part and parcel of this nation, including immigrants who don't believe in God. So we are a Christian majority in this country, and we also need to stop our leaders, including William Ruto, who has gone on ahead in a pulpit.
We will come to William Ruto just in a very short please. Let's first deal with this issue. Just before you come in, Daniel, from where I sit, these demands by this section of Muslim leaders, whatever they're asking for a deputy president or a prime minister to be handed over from to a Muslim from the coast region, not even a Muslim from anywhere in the country, but from the coast region. And now they want the office of the chief Qadi to the equivalent, to be elevated to be the equivalent of a high court judge and establishment of Qadi's Court of Appeal. So clearly they want to just get away from the normal court process like we have it here, and also demanding that all ambassadors appointed to Muslim and Arabian countries be Muslims, seeking Muslims senior positions in the military and in all uniform discipline forces. I've been trying to go through this story, and I'm trying to understand why is it that, for example, just promoting more senior, and there are a lot of senior Muslim military officials or in the discipline forces. They are there. If you walk around this, barracks, they are there. And these other things that they are actually demanding for. I'm trying to understand. The BBA process is a national document. It has nothing to do with a regional anything. It has nothing to do with one religious group being superior than the other. It has nothing to do. It's trying to bring Kenyans together and try to fight marginalization and discrimination. But these demands that they are making here, a lot of them are very selfish. Daniel.
Miriam, yes, I think as a country we are missing the point. You know, when a president comes into office, he swears his allegiance to the Constitution and the people of the Republic of Kenya. And when he talks about the people, he talks about our Kenyan people, regardless of our ethnic affiliations, our political inclinations, our religious diversity, or maybe our social status. So, to me, I think for us to be able to chart a path of unity, a path of a unilateral, unilaterally collected society, then we need to emancipate from the discussions which are based on religious diversity. We need to emancipate ourselves from the discussions which are ethnically motivated. We need to get away from political discussions which are made along social state lines. So, and therefore, such kind of rhetorics from our religious leaders, as Douglas has said, should be discouraged and should be so much. We should so much reprimand such kind of leaders who talk about such kind of things. Because one thing, for the record, Miriam, when you read the NCIC report, there's nowhere they have outlined that a particular religious group has been marginalized when it comes to sharing of positions, be it in government or be it nationally in elective positions. So therefore, when someone tries to bring such kind of a discussion on the table, they are simply opening Pandora's box for other religious groups to come on the table with the very many outrageous demands that will again take this country backwards in terms of unity, in terms of cohesion, and in terms of discussing positive agenda, which is supposed to build this nation and take us our economy to the next level. Mm-hmm. So we need not to waste our time discussing about sharing positions and giving promotions based on religious subscriptions. Rather, we should be talking about building a country whose labor force is solely based on competence, whose labor force is based on skills and technical know-how, rather than advocating for cheap and easy helicopter promotions for various religious groups. So therefore, I think these are very retrogressive discussion from the Muslim leadership, and we need as a community, as a society, not to give it so much limelight. We need to focus on what best benefit this country And therefore, if we talk about sharing of positions and government slots, then let us encourage our various people, be it in the Muslims religious society, be it in the Christian fraternity. Let us encourage our people to pursue excellence in whatever they are doing, so that at the end of the day, the government, when the government is doing, is scouting for talent and competence, they will automatically qualify for these particular positions. Because at the end of the day, we talk about unity, we talk about equitable sharing of position and resources. And if we want to have equity in our society, then we have to encourage our members to be competent and to be able to compete it squarely with others at the national level, without being aided and given some kind of helicopter promotions. Right. Because that one, once we do that, we shall be disadvantaging these other groups which have very qualified members of the society. And by that, we shall be doing an injustice to a vast majority of Kenyans who are hardworking, who always have a commitment towards delivering results at the end of the day. And therefore, we should not, Miriam, at any particular point, think about issuing promotions, issuing positions based on our religious affiliations. Okay. That is my take, Miriam.
Very well, thank you so much. And some of these, demands that they made, I'd like to understand, I'd like to see them explained further. For instance, Kenya appointing only Muslims to Muslim countries and Arabian countries. That I'd like to understand, what is the thought process behind this? What has been happening? The people who've been sent in these countries, how have they been representing the country, and how has they performed? How have they been able to build the diplomatic ties between Kenya and these countries? And what is the gap that they feel a Muslim will feel and all that? I would like to understand. I'd like to be convinced and just understand where are they coming from with such an argument. And also, are we likely to see, because we saw Douglas, just a couple of weeks ago, also the governors came here with a very ridiculous, demands they wanted in terms of how much they want to gain from the BBI, which was also very, very quite selfish, had nothing to do with Kenyans. And we meant to understand this BBI has everything to do with the national interest. It is not to benefit an individual. It is not to benefit a region. It is to ensure that all Kenyans and their issues are able to be addressed adequately. And so when the governors met in Naivasha for 2 days, what they're able to come out with is the retirement package. They want 2 cars to be given to them once they leave office, and for us to be paying for their replacement every 4 years, and things that have nothing to do with the benefit of Kenyans. So it was quite ridiculous, and we talked about it here. And thank God, I hope it has not been included in that BBI report. And now we see these demands by the Muslim leaders there. These people and some of the demands they're bringing on the table, Douglas, is it just another chess game that might never end? They're just playing. Think they're not on a chessboard instead of really giving issues that they know would have a benefit for the larger majority of Kenyans.
Miriam, I have had conversation around this country. I have had the activists speak, and they have said this process is a process of 2 people. And that was the assumption of so many people. That's why Martha Karua, Boniface Mwangi, and David Day and so others dismissed this thing as a passing crowd. William Ruto himself the deputy president dismissed this thing as a passing crowd. Everyone in this country has been caught up off guard. They have been caught off guard when it comes to the BBI conversation that has been going on for about 2 years. I think now they are waking up and thinking, now this BBI thing will pass without our needs being taken care of. Remember, dignity and greed don't stay in the same room. These people are selfish, their demands are selfish, and we are not saying all of their demands are selfish. No, their views, and remember, their views, our views equals our democracy. When they don't give their views, when they don't express themselves, we cannot be able to grow a democracy. We cannot be able to grow our communities. We cannot be able to grow the Republic of Kenya. The demands that these people are making, the Muslims are making demands today. They had 2 years to be able to make their demands and also fine-tune their demands. The governors had over 2 years to make their demands and fine-tune their demands. The deputy president had 2 years to fine-tune his consensus movement and also have it captured in the BBI report. What we are having today is a greedy groups of people who want to insert their views in the Constitution of Kenya when the amendment is done via the ballot and the referendum on 21st June 2021. What we are having today is a manifestation of our greed as Kenyans, our manifestation of lack of discipline when it comes to the well-being of Kenyans. We cannot think of others. We're only thinking about ourselves. Governors asked for packages, retirement, and all that. The MCAs brought their issues on board. The Coast Region now has spoken. The next minute now we shall hear an association or maybe Jorincheke from Meru, our revered Council of Elders, giving their own demands. But we need to also come to a place where we come to a conclusive end and say that we can be able to effect these changes and also grow our country. Because remember, the countries that have effected changes in the constitution, the countries that have effected even radical changes had to have a place where those changes began from. For example, I'll give you examples. In Ghana, when President Jerry John Rawlings came into power, when he wanted to change the country, he wanted to change the way people were working. He wanted to lead by example. He wanted to give people seeds. He wanted to help people do things. He was leading from the front. He introduced multi-party democracy and all those. The changes that were brought by these leaders, most of the time, were unpopular. The same way, these people think that when the BBI passes, it is going to benefit a few people. When the 9-point agenda was brought by the president and the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, was not even about themselves. This is not about anyone else. That's why now the conversation around BBI should tell anyone. It is a conversation that everyone has been caught off guard, whereas they had 2 years to be able to argue their point and also have a national conversation that encompasses the face of Kenya. What we are having today, Miriam, is a manifestation of greed and also patriotism. They want their views to be captured in the Constitution. Even me, I wouldn't want a constitutional movement to pass without my views and my thoughts being captured in a constitution. But what we are having now at the center of that is many people, including the governors and MCAs and the Muslim community and the people from Coast and everywhere, they are having a moment, a wake-up call, that this constitutional movement will pass without our greed being captured in the constitution. We need to be able to tame our greed as a people. We need to tame our greed as communities. We should think, like I have said before earlier, we should be able to think in terms of our country, in terms of our nation, in terms of our state, in terms of our republic, because we want a situation where anyone can be president. We want a situation where anyone can be a military general. I want my son one day to read NMS. I want my son, that is if it will be entrenched in the constitution. I want my son to be an army chief. I want my son to run for president. I want my nephews to run and become governors. I want my nephews to be appointed ambassadors in the Middle East, in Muslim countries. I want them to go and learn what is happening in Dubai so that they can bring that technology home, so that we can grow our communities. But what we are having today is a clique of communities and groups who are mixing their patriotism, their right to expression, and also to be heard in this constitutional moment with the greed. We need to stop that, because, Miriam, we need to see why would a community or why would we have a particular seat going to the people of Coast? Yes, we agree there's been historical marginalization, and that is what is being addressed in this constitutional moment. But why would they think that the Muslim community are entitled to every Muslim country, let's say Liberia, Algeria, and all countries in the Asian countries? We need to now give them to a particular community. Miriam, this country cannot encompass
a particular religion, actually, in this case.
Yes, we cannot encompass where a region takes, and that is the problem that we see even in Ethiopia and other countries. We cannot go there as a country. We left that station long time ago. We are in another plane where we want to be able to have a Kenya where everyone feels as a Kenyan, where their voices count, and meritocracy, as Sean was saying, takes precedence over regional issues, over regional interests, over regional concerns. Because, Miriam, I think that concern, whoever advised those leaders to go and take those concerns to the Right Honorable Raila Odinga was not in his right senses. That is not something that Kenyans should be discussing now. We should not be discussing about empowering a particular region. If we empower the Coast region today, what will happen to the Western region and Nyanza and Central and Rift Valley and Northeastern? We need to have a situation. We need to have a country where we can be able to do our things in consideration with the interest of other communities and other people. Because, Miriam, if today they say they want a particular seat in the military, now we say every police chief that has to come into this country has to come from Mount Kenya, particularly Meru County, particularly Kiabu Ward. It can't happen like that, Miriam.
Absolutely.
So my submission is that we are mixing so much into this constitutional movement, and we need to rein on our regional leaders, and also those people that are drafting those things. They should stop their leaders from embarrassing themselves. Miriam.
All right, very well. I think because they were meeting with Raila, they just needed something to say. I want to believe really they did not think some of these things that they're giving.
Miriam.
Yeah. Well,
Miriam, see it from this perspective.
Yeah.
This region is giving their demand to be, let's say, their people particularly to be appointed in senior military positions. Why the military and not NYS? Why the military and not the treasury?
Why not immigration? Why not foreign affairs?
Migration?
Yeah.
So
it's. I would like to understand the reasoning behind that, please, clerics, if you can clarify.
There is no Kenyan, including Sean, has not been able to wrap his mind around it. And nobody can be able to wrap their mind around that.
I'd like to understand where you're coming from.
This is so bigotic, and it's greed-motivated conversation that they are having. Because I believe for our society to benefit quite sufficiently from the national prosperity and the shared resources, I believe they should be advocating for better health facilities. They should be advocating for better educational institutions, better training facilities for their students, so that as a society, they produce the top of the cream professionals who will have an opportunity to compete fairly with the rest of the people from across the country. Because that is what the most developed societies do, unless it is in a matter of an affirmative action where they feel like perhaps a particular community has been left behind, and therefore we have to have an affirmative action to make sure that we bring up a bit of numbers from this particular community or society, so that we have an equilibrium at the topmost leadership of the country. But without that, I think it is uncalled for, and it's something that really brings some spurs of division amongst our society. And also, I would like us to borrow, as a country, to borrow the culture that is there in Tanzania. Despite having so many ethnicities and tribes, Tanzania has always maintained that perhaps they should mostly concentrate on talking about the national agenda, rather than which tribe do one come from, or maybe which particular service or particular amenity needs to go to this and that particular tribe, or maybe an appointment. So we need to elevate our thinking from the lower simplistic thought of thinking along tribal, religious, and social status lines into thinking that really reflects a nationalistic notion, Miriam. I submit.
But of course, Raila's response to that was, as things stand, there is no room to accommodate fresh views on BBI. The Constitution is a living document. The gaps identified will be filled through amendments over time. This is the first amendment of the 2010 Constitution. Even the best Constitution in the world has been amended many times, of course. That is what Raila told them. So he did not even pretend to tell them, you know what, we'll go consider some of these things you're saying. He told them, no, that room, there's no room for that. And he thanked Kenyans who took their time in the 2 years that we had to give their views on the BBI report, who took their time to do that. So I'm not quite sure if these Muslim clerics also had given their views to the steering committee there. I'll try to look up and see. All right, so another story, page 6 of the Star newspaper, Ruto team now wants Kenyans to vote for particular BBI clauses. All right, allies of the Deputy President William Ruto intend to push for a multiple question ballot for the BBI referendum so Kenya can vote on particular proposals. This idea is being mulled after the backlash that greeted the DP allies' move to back the BBI report, after months of aggressive opposition to the initiative. At the center of what is putting the DP and his lieutenants at crossroads is how to navigate the proposal to increase the number of MPs, while women representatives will become senators if the BBI is passed. The initiative seeks to create an additional 70 constituencies to improve representation. Now, the majority of Kenyans have expressed their reservations on the proposal, saying it will burden the taxpayer with a huge wage bill. Ruto's allies want Kenyans to vote clause by clause in the 74 articles, hoping it will give them a leeway to reject what they do not agree with. So they're still coming there with the spirit of rejection. Douglas.
Miriam, in politics, if you want to understand the position of a particular leader, look at the people that hang around him. What are they saying? For example, I will give a very simplistic concern. If I go to my brother's house today and I find his wife quarreling everyone around the place, and my brother is just pretending to be sweeping the compound, which is not his obligation. If I find my brother trying to fix something in the compound that is not even a going concern, he has workers to do that. But now, why would my brother be in support of my sister-in-law, accusing everyone of all manner of things and also quarreling everyone, and they are not training on them? So it shows and it reflects that is the true position of what my brother would have wanted to say, but you didn't want because he is fearing maybe a family backlash or a community backlash. But that is the true position of my brother. Mm-hmm. On this Tanga movement that is led by the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, all his lieutenants and their cronies, they are not supporting the BBI process. We have seen their friends in the civil society. You take money at night to them to go and oppose the BBI report. His cronies have now started giving conditions, and also we have seen a larger number of his followers who are very vocal even on social media and everywhere. They have opposed the document because they are saying and doing what the Deputy President is not saying and doing. As a people, we also need to see what the Deputy President is not saying. As a people, we want to see what the Deputy President does not want us to see. The Deputy President does not want us to see that he is opposing the BBI process, and he is the principle of the no camp. So the Deputy President and his lieutenants, any going concern they have today is no longer valid. They are called for consensus, they are called for everything. Remember, the Deputy President is the principal assistant to the President of the Republic of Kenya. They were elected on a joint ticket, and anything the President says, he is supposed to be the assistant. But democracy also demands that he can speak his mind like he does when the President is there. If it was me, I wouldn't have tolerated that, except the President and the Deputy President are joined at the hip by the Constitution. Mm-hmm. But they are opposing this document, they are saboteurs, and I will always maintain that these people are for over 2 years, instead of asking even for the consensus that they're asking this very 11th hour. These people have been opposing this document, they have been fighting this document, they have sponsored people to go on social media, on TV, live television, across the world to go and say the way Kenya is being hijacked by two families. The way Kenya is being colonized again by two families who have sat on the world and the prosperity of this nation. The Deputy President and his people, have they changed the tune now? They have become the crusaders of the BBI process? No. And I want to marry my point to what you said before, I think a week ago. You said the preamble has to, the preamble has to also follow the conclusive end. Mm-hmm.
For that argument to be valid, the premise and the conclusion must match.
Yes. Mm-hmm. They need to be able to tell us, before they were not supporting the document, why is the sudden change of heart? Why are they asking consensus on a document that they are calling evil? Moses Kuria and others who support the Deputy President, they are all asking for the consensus as the Deputy President is asking. Actually, they are confusing Kenyans, and they are also buying time so that this process is declared null, redundant, and irrelevant. Why? Because these people don't believe in this process. For example, the faith communities and the Muslims and the people that went to town halls and also sent their views via email and everything, those people can can continue giving their room for consensus. But we are not hearing those people who sent even their email and also went to KICC and also went over across the nation when the BBI meetings were being held, when they gave their views. We are not hearing them asking for a consensus on the things that were not captured there. We are hearing an opposition group that has been fighting for over 2 years this process, that has come back. Now they are asking for all manner of things. We have seen them speaking about a bloated parliament. We have seen them speaking about things they don't believe in. The Kenyanness or the spirit of Kenya does not encompass people, confuse others, leaders who take advantage of their followers, and leaders who are hypocrites. I saw the Deputy President the other day talk about constitutional mandate that he has to assist the President. Deputy President William Ruto has been fighting the President, sabotaging government agenda. We have seen when the President and the leader of opposition, when they reigned on the President has been delivering development projects. The development projects that were launched by William Ruto are all fake. They didn't take off. The road that was connecting my home that was launched by Deputy President is Monday. There is no money to that. So I think now we will beseech the President to allocate more fund, some other fund to that thing, because whatever the Deputy President allocated there, it was fake. So we need to call them for their hypocrisy and what their stand has been. And also, Miriam, why this last minute? What are they talking about now? We need to, when you are accommodated in someone's house, you don't go and say you want to change the mattress in the middle of the night. You have to wait for the morning, sleep on what is happening. Then in the morning, you can be able to talk about the other thing. They have just come, and they are coming with so much force. And before, they didn't support this thing. So my take on that is to dismiss the conversation about the Tanga movement people, dismiss everything that comes from their mouth because they are hypocrites. Deputy President in the morning, he tweeted one day, he said, now I have supported the President, we have been making improvement. Him and the President, the one that he has been fighting for the last 2 years. Then in the evening, he said, I have received overwhelming support and also divergent views from you people. I don't support this thing. That should not be construed that I don't want consensus. Mm-hmm. What is that?
All right.
The hypocrisy in the team is so much, and we don't want that for our country. For this country to move forward, Miriam, we need to come together as a people. Without their egos and our egos, we come together, heal our nation, and move forward. BBI should not be brought to be a contest between the Deputy President and the President. The BBI does not even encompass a competition between the Deputy and his President. The BBI process is a process for all Kenyans that was identified by two noble sons of Kenya, of the Republic of Kenya, the Right Honorable Raila Odinga and the President of the Republic of Kenya, to be able to move this country. Because if there is a crisis, it has to be midwifed by someone. If there is a crisis, it has to have some leaders who are leading from the front. And these are the people who came together and said, there is a problem here, guys, and we can be able to solve it. Mm-hmm. So whoever says it is a process of the President and the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, yes, it is them who are midwifing the crisis that we are in this country. So that we don't have someone else in 2022 losing an election and claiming they want to form their own nation.
All right, thank you.
We don't want in 2022 having people who will still be opposing the government that they have formed. We want to have people who come together, be voted in, work for a progressive agenda. If you are defeated in 2027, you go home, another team takes over, and Kenya moves forward, Miriam.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Douglas. So, Daniel, I don't know if Javan is back. Once he's back, you let me know. Ruto allies want Kenyans to vote clause by clause in the 74 articles, hoping it will give them leeway to reject what they do not agree with. 74 articles that are set to be changed there in the BBI through the BBI report. And according to the allies of Deputy President, Kenyans should vote for this clause by clause, and we have 74 of the articles. I mean, paint a picture for us on the voting day of the referendum. What will this look like for Kenyans? Should that be taken into account?
Miriam, I think Kenya should treat such kind of shenanigans with the content that it deserves, because as we've been talking here, it has been 2 years of very, very aggressive consultation in the BBI reports. And we have the BBI task force holding over 93 forums, public participation forums, for Kenyans to submit their views, to go and perhaps validate those views also. And none of these individuals really showed up or showed any interest to go and criticize and give their divergent views on it. only for them to come at the last minute at an 11th hour, Miriam, and start now really poking holes in the entire document. It really smells of malice and ill intent to shoot down the BBI report and be able to sabotage the entire process at the end of the day. Therefore, as I've been saying here, Miriam, on this program, that perhaps it is time now we just made it clear to them that the train has already left the station, and therefore there's no time for consensus. There should be no time and room for the political class to hijack the process through gerrymandering and all these kind of jerry-picking expeditions that we are seeing from the other side of the political divide. We should allow Kenyans to have a referendum so that at the end of the day, it is the same Kenyan people who gave their views to be included in the BBI report will have a say on the final destiny and the final fate of this particular document. So to me, Miriam, I think anyone who is having any hopes of consensus is someone who is living in some kind of utopia. And these are the people who are not truthful to this entire process. And as the former Prime Minister said yesterday, we really do not have quite some confidence and some trust in their intention for them saying that they want to come on the table. But however, they have some reservations, and they also want some issues here and there checked. Because we had a period of time, Miriam, where we had to look at that. And that period has already surpassed. And whatever we should be focusing on as a country is on how to move on the next stage. Right now, we are collecting signatures. And the next stage now will be subjecting and popularizing the document to the people of Kenya so that come June next year, we shall be having a referendum. So I think this is a process that cannot be drawn back again to accommodate a few issues here and there, but rather we should now focus on moving forward. At the end of the day, we shall not spend a lot of our time in politics. We have to do away with the BBI report so that we move on to the next agenda. After all, we only have less than 2 years left before we can go to the general elections in 2022. So my take is that let us ignore this kind of shenanigans and the sideshow that we are getting from the other side of the political divide. Let us focus on the goal, which is the BBI, and BBI is a people-driven document. It carries whatever aspirations, whatever beliefs and hopes that the people of Kenya wish to have in the present and also to be great in the future. So let us move on as planned and be able to deliver that particular document to the people of Kenya. Right. That is my take, Miriam.
All right, Tankoi Adam, you're not in full support of the BBI report. Thank you so much there for your views. And Dalmas Kenaz, you're saying you think voting close by close will be a good idea for Kenyans. All right, very well. Thank you so much. Keep writing. I'll keep reading some of those, some of your comments there as we conclude. Apparently, while the referendum bill, I'm reading from page 6 of the Star newspaper, while the referendum bill cannot be amended at any stage, the Star has established that there are behind-the-scene talks between President Uhuru Kenyatta and the DP to have a provision in the bill to allow for multiple choices. Surprise, surprise. But this is from the Star, all right? So Ruto has summoned 150 MPs allied to his Tangatanga faction for a consultative meeting on Wednesday in Nairobi. They are expected to take a common position on how they will approach the referendum. Some of his troops have, however, hit the ground mobilizing their supporters to append the signatures of the referendum bill. I'm totally confused at this point. Okay, so the Wednesday's meeting will coincide with the day President Uhuru Kenyatta and his handshake partner Raila Odinga has set aside for the final collection of signatures. At least 1 million signatures are required to amend the constitution through a referendum. The DP has not come out clearly to state his position, but he has been praising some of the proposals in the report through his social media platforms. In particular, Ruto is happy with the introduction of the Article 11A, which he said will empower hustlers. He said after making his presentation at the Bomas of Kenya during the official launch of the BBI report improvements there. So interesting developments there, Douglas, would you say? So we know MP, as we read from this story, will be having a meeting with the politicians allied to him to see how they can take a a unified approach and to this BBI, and whether they'll come out and say now we support this BBI, yes or no. And also, as we learn at the same time, some of these politicians are already in Ruto's camp, are already mobilizing their supporters to append their signatures of the referendum bill. But the DP, of course, has not come out clearly to state his position, but he's saying he will be rallying behind his boss, President Uhuru Kenyatta, to support whatever his boss is doing, and that is in regards to the BBI, but he did not come out clearly and saying he is supporting this. This is a lot of confusing report, and also learning that there could be some talks behind the scenes between President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy there on how to allow for multiple choices in this in the upcoming referendum. Douglas, what do you make of all of this?
Miriam, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya is William Samoei Ruto, who has been running a parallel government, who can afford, when he is the principal assistant to the president, instead of assisting the president that they were elected with 8 years ago, and also for a second term in 2017, he is also summoning people to take a common stand. Where does he get all the strength from? Hiyo nguvu anatoa wapi? The Deputy President said he has a constitutional mandate, and they have been improving this document with the President post-Bomas. So I tend to think that post-Bomas, him and the President were meeting daily and also fine-tuning it on after every minute, and the only time they didn't talk about it when they were sleeping. But the Deputy President has gone ahead to defy the President and also defy the process that he claims to be supporting. The Deputy President, when the President does a meeting, the Deputy President is also calling his own people to go and call a press conference and make demands for more consensus. The Deputy President is a saboteur. The Deputy President is not a man of goodwill. He's not a politician whose political goodwill is with the President Kenyatta. His political goodwill is with his own political ambitions to be president in 2022. And remember, I have said before, and I will repeat this afternoon, that President of Kenya is not elected because people are forced to. The President of Kenya is elected because you offer yourself as one of the noble sons of this country, or the most qualified people that can be able to lead us. All Kenyans are equal, and we are equal under the law. What we are not equal is in the offices that we hold, and we respect that. But the Deputy President is holding parallel meetings to his boss. The Deputy President quoted his alleged constitutional, which is true, mandate to help the President. He is meeting his supporters, MPs, over 150 MPs who support his bid and also support his political ideology, that are Tangatanga movement supporting the President. He can text them to tell them, or he can even send a newspaper put out and say, support the President and we are here. But he wants to do the same day the President is doing another thing, the Deputy President is on another thing. And he's been sabotaging the President, and people should open their eyes and see this. If we can have another alternative to run for President, except William Ruto, we would really appreciate. Because William Ruto has choked us with his political ambition as if it is a matter of life and death. Miriam, remember, including you being a news anchor is not a matter of life and death. If you are sacked tomorrow, punchline will move on. If today a panelist will not appear here, another one will appear tomorrow. So there is a story that they said there was a cock that was every morning would wake people with its voice. Every morning when the cock crows in the morning, the people, he would wake up and tell the people, I'm the reason why you are receiving time in the morning and the sun is coming because I'm crowing in the morning. So the Deputy President should not tell us if he's not around, Kenya cannot be able to move on. Because every move that the Deputy President is making is a move to sabotage this process and also to sabotage the agenda of the President. Remember, Miriam, we said the Deputy President is the principal assistant. Actually, it is not us. It is the Constitution that says that. The President is delivering the Recon Channel, the floating bridge. The President is putting Kenya under construction. That is what the Deputy President should be doing, inspecting the project on behalf of the President. But we have seen the President being forced to go on the roadside to go and check if the roads are being done and giving ultimatums, which should be given by the Deputy President. But the Deputy President is so fixated with ambition to run for President of this country. He can as well resign so that he can concentrate from his rural home in Sugoi to run for President, because This process is a national concern. This process is a national hearing concern. That's why you can see, Miriam, this morning we have dedicated over 1 hour to these people, Muslims who are saying that they should be appointed in government in senior positions. That's why we are giving it precedence, because, Miriam, we cannot afford to have the conversations that the Tanga movement leader, His Excellency, the Deputy President, want us to have. Why? Because, Miriam, we need to also come to terms with the true character of the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. The Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya doesn't want to oppose the President and the Right Honorable Raila Odinga end on. He is using the MPs, and these MPs should be reprimanded. Remember, Miriam, the newspaper article that you have read says some of his followers and also MPs have gone ahead to mobilize people. We commend those people and also round them for their patriotism. Kenya comes before Deputy President William Ruto. Kenya comes before his political ambitions. He thinks that if now he doesn't give away ahead for his own MPs, the MPs that he controls with his money, Kenya will not move forward. Kenya will continue moving forward. The president one day said that Kenya has to move forward, and being a leader does not count from where you come from or who your mother was and what not. Mm-hmm. The president said that when the president died for over 41 years ago, actually I think he said it this year, he said over 41 years ago, the founding president of this country died. Kenya did not stop. When the president passed on, mm-hmm. Kenya continued moving on, because we need to move on as a country. And also the deputy president and his people, we need you to make a stand. We need you to make a stand. Let your stand be known.
Maybe they'll do that after the meeting on Wednesday, Douglas. Thank you.
No, Miriam, yes. What we are doing is the same press conferences that we are used to from Tanga movement. Those are things that we are saying that they should stop doing. Because the deputy president would wake up in the morning. He has turned out to be a blogger. He blog in the morning on a tweet. In the evening, he's tweeting another one. He's calling for a meeting next week. Then the other week, you'll hear, before the weekends, on Friday, you'll see a tweet from the deputy president. He needs to stop any shenanigan that he has, and also tell us what is his stand, and also continue supporting the, actually he should call his family and also Kenyans to append their signatures on that process, Media.
All right, let's leave the family out of it, but it appears it's going to be, perhaps you'll see the end of this chess game very soon, Daniel, as you conclude the show. We read there that on Wednesday, Deputy President will be meeting with over 150 members of parliament allied to him in discussing the way forward. I think part of the changes that were included in the BBI report will form the basis of that meeting on Wednesday. Maybe from there, we will get to know where the stand is, because Deputy President, as much as he's been, tweeting, and sometimes people take what he's saying as to be meaning maybe he's supporting the BBI, then he makes a turnaround and comes with, cryptic messaging. So it's been very confusing to a lot of Kenyans. But from that story I just read from the Star newspaper, now we are learning that some politicians allied to him are already mobilizing Kenyans from the grassroots there to start to append a signature to this. So I'm confused as we conclude. Daniel, what has happened? Okay, we seems to have suffered a technical hitch there from Daniel Wasonga. I wanted to hear his final thoughts there. Douglas, is there anything you need to add before we conclude?
The Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Mr. William Ruto, should be able to come out very clearly. The Constitution says he is the principal assistant to the President. He is not a competitor to the President. He was not elected as a President. He was elected as the Deputy, as an assistant to the President. He needs to support the President so that they can deliver their term and go on very quickly. And also remember, BBI process now has become a national program where everyone wants to be involved in this national healing project. The Deputy President should also stop sabotaging it and also declare his stand. Because, Miriam, we have seen, Kenyans have seen, Deputy President would tweet in the morning that this is what is supposed to be happening, and then he says, I'm going to assist the President. We have been making, actually he alludes that himself and the President have been doing that. Making the BBI process a document to be better for Kenyans so that they can understand. Where he mentioned that wheelbarrows have been captured in the BBI. the article that he mentioned, that has now mentioned Asuras and wheelbarrows, was in the actual BBI document. Why? Because we read these things. Deputy President relies on a group of people and also followers who don't read these things. People, I am asking Kenyans to read the BBI for themselves even before they append you read and append the signature. Read, append the signature. And also the Deputy President should be reading. When we saw other national leaders appending their signature, the Deputy President was taking tea and newspapers and andazi in his office and reading newspapers. We cannot have a Deputy President who is rogue, defiant, and also I don't think the Constitution should also be given as more lease of life and have a situation where a Deputy President cannot be able to be so defiant to their bosses and also to a national program. When the President is putting Kenya under construction, our Deputy President is calling people for meetings in his current home. We need to also stop misusing, we should stop misuse of public resources and our taxes by the Deputy President. He cannot be cooking tea and preparing tea and mandazi for the people that he meets at Karen, using government resources.
All right.
Because that is a complete misuse of public resources. Instead of him meeting people, he should be reading. He should be the one that is taking pictures and also telling Kenyans what is happening in the coast. He should be in Meru telling people where are the roads that he promised people. So, Miriam, we need to also come to a point where we need to also tell ourselves the truth as Kenyans, and also the followers of the Deputy President should also see the hypocrite that their leader is. Because our Deputy President has become a national threat, a national security threat. You go and yes, Miriam, he has become a national security threat because even during COVID, you do meetings and also continue with the campaigns. His 2022 bid saying that COVID has been brought as a scam to stop his presidential bid, and that is what his people will be saying. So many people have died in Miriam, and he needs to apologize to Kenyans for doing that. And also, what he is doing today, being defiant to his boss, does not help his 2022 presidential bid. I submit the Deputy President is a rogue Deputy President, and he should stop what he is doing today, Miriam. I am saying that with a clear mind and a clear conscience, without fear of anything, because the Deputy President has been doing meetings across this nation. The second wave of coronavirus has come from his meetings. We need to stop that.
And now
I submit and thank you.
After the meetings of him and of course other politicians were stopped, we've seen the figures go down. So hopefully they'll stay down and completely, we can be free from COVID-19. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Douglas. And
Sean is back, Miriam.
Oh, Sean is back. Oh, Daniel, we were about to just conclude the show, so perhaps you give us your final conclusion there.
Yes, Miriam, from my take is that we should bring to an end all these kind of shenanigans coming from various interest groups. We should bring to an end to the such kind of gerrymandering that the Deputy President and his allies are taking us to. BBI is a very serious problem. We all understand the repercussions that this country has always reaped from divisive elections. And therefore, before we even proceed to have the 2022 general elections, there is a dire need and such a strong persuasion from our leadership, from our people of Kenya, and even the religious leaders and our other friends of this country to fix our electoral systems, to fix our society in terms of how they perceive the elections and the sharing of positions and resources of this country, so that we emancipate as a country from the tradition, the retrogressive position of divisive elections, of the politics of the winner takes it all, politics where our ethnic affiliations really define how we elect our leaders into office. So therefore, we should take into consideration the importance of the BBI report and the BBI process itself, so that at the end of the day, we do not focus on those trivial matters that are being raised by these particular individuals who are not interested in the process itself. And as Douglas says, it is time the Deputy President and his allies, being a senior civil servant, number 2 in command, to come out clearly as a leader of principle and declare where he stands. If he's for the No Brigade, we shall allow him to rally his forces and muster his generals behind the campaign, and we shall meet at the ballot so that Kenyans are able to decide the fate of this particular document. And that is what mature politicians do. That is what is expected in a democratic society. So therefore, let us just bring an end to all these kind of shenanigans that we experience in Miriam. They're not good, and they're derailing and poking holes into the entire BBI process. I submit.
All right, very well. Thank you so much, Daniel Wasonga. Earlier we had Javan Karanja from Nanyuki, who suffered a bit of a technical hitch there, but thank you so much, Javan, there. And also thank you, Douglas Kirimi, all the way from Meru. This has been the People's Court, and we've been looking at some of the changes there that were proposed by the Muslim leaders that met with former Prime Minister Raila Odinga at the coast over the week. And among other things that they wanted included in the BBI report is for the establishment of the Board of Muslim Scholars of Kenya under the chairmanship of the Mufti of Kenya. And also they demanded that all ambassadors appointed to Muslim and Arabian countries be Muslims. They also sought the promotion of Muslims to senior positions in the military and in all uniformed disciplined forces. And I want to know why. That in particular. And also the clerics call for the implementation of the Ndungu report and the Truth, Justice and Reconciliation Commission report to resolve land conflicts in the coast region. They call for the formation of a committee representing coastal communities to find a lasting solution to the problems surrounding land belonging to absentee landlords, among other things that they called for. And of course, the reply they got from Raila Odinga was, there's no room for any more of those changes. Thank you very much. This has been the People's Court. My name is Miriam Ogutu. Thank you for watching. Good afternoon.
That has been
Yes, that was great. Aki Douglas.
Peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.